I'm Kaye and I'm a late bloomer. Think you don't have enough sun for a winter garden? I'll show you how I maximize the light in my small space garden. We'll also do a garden update, hear from a couple of loyal fans. We may even whip up a treat. But first, sit back and let me razzle-dazzle you with my February blooms. Between annuals and perennials, the garden I didn't plan to grow this winter got rather filled up. The pineapple guavas exploded from all the rain and benefited from the wood chips. Nasturtium reseeded along the sidewalk, as usual. The comfrey live roots I planted in the parkway are coming up. My back 40 raised bed is developing nicely, with 8 inches of wood chips breaking down underneath the pots. Cabbages, cauliflower, turnips, and beets under voile are looking fabulous, and sweet peas behind them are reaching for the sun. 4 o'clocks reseeded between the cyclamen, and the driveway project is lined with containers. Onion sprouts growing in here got eaten by some animal, so I'm covering bok choy and these toy onions with voile. When these 2 passion fruit vines get larger, they will go in my big planter in back. Carrots germinated in my 2 huge clay pots, but they don't get much sun here, so it's slow going. I cut my sweetgrass down to the soil level, and all this is new growth, which this ladybug finds of interest. I wrote a blog in 2012 entitled My Little Lemon Tree, which is the most viewed post on latebloomershow.com. This year, my Meyer lemon tree is more loaded than ever. The backside never gets direct sun, and yet the lemons are equally distributed. Borage threatens to take over the garlic and raised bed, and there are a handful of late fruit on the brown turkey fig tree. After 4 long years, my Valencia orange tree is finally stepping up and producing oranges. Finding sun has been my #1 challenge in the late bloomer garden. And if I'd known that I was going to become a food grower when we bought this house, we would have bought another house because it faces the wrong way. And this house is not the only problem. That big house is a problem, and that pine tree is a problem. It shades the front area, which is my main growing garden. When I started my very first garden, it was in the winter, and I had observed this entire area in the shade. And I thought, I can't utilize this whole area. Then I began to realize that if I grow things up, they'll reach the sun. And of course, in the summer, this gets sun. So I built this 50 square foot raised bed, and it has been my biggest producer of the whole garden. So don't limit yourself thinking you can't do it. Now, I just wanted to say a little word about this. I saw this at Jill Green's garden on my vlog, Sweet Life Garden in Phoenix. She had used it much lower, and she had her voile draped over it. But I decided not to cut it, to have it taller. Turns out the voile is only 72 inches wide, so it would not go over this entire thing without piecing it together. The sun goes over that way, and in the winter it's even lower. And only in June and early part of July is the sun directly overhead. The rest of the time it's coming at an angle and things are in the way. So what do? You grow things up to reach the sky. You keep your bushes trimmed lower. You look and see where the sun is coming, and by keeping that camellia bush lower, I get an hour more of sun. And of course, you plant your lower stuff in front of your taller stuff, because in this section, in the winter, the most sun they get is from 11 to 2 o'clock. We have June gloom, which is a Southern California term for cloudy skies and cool temperatures. This can go from the end of April to the beginning of July. So it's a challenge. What do? I grow a lot of things in pots so I can move them over to where the sun shines, when it does shine. If I could put pots on this whole driveway, I would, because this is where I get the most amount of sun. This is all that's left of my wood chips. That huge mound is down to that. And look what I just discovered. These are my asparagus pots. Let me show you. You may have heard about this atmospheric river that has hit California in the last few weeks and threatens to overturn our 7-year drought. We are currently 216% over the normal amount of precipitation for this period. So my vessels were full weeks ago, and they just overflow. The back of my house gets very little sun in winter, but I managed to grow kale in the vertical planter. Utilize a balcony if you can easily access a water source, like I did in 2014, growing peppers. Growing against a light-colored wall that sun hits during part of the day gives reflected light and warmth to plants. This worked well for me growing loofah last year. The bed is prepped and waiting for the passion fruit vines. Even with small space and little sun, the pleasure of watching plants grow makes it all worthwhile. Plus, you get to eat the produce. The rainwater is just squirting out of this thing. A few months ago, I sent a garden questionnaire to a couple of my loyal fans. Here are their responses, with a little help from their parents.
Und wie alt bist du? Was ist das?
4.
4. Und machst du Garten?
Ja.
Was machst du am liebsten im Garten?
Ernten.
Ernten? Was ist dein Lieblingsgemüse aus dem Garten?
Gurke.
Ja? Und dann jetzt weiß Kaye, meine Freundin, heißt Late Bloomer Show.
Weil die liebt Blumen.
Oder was ist dein Lieblingsvideo von Kaye?
Late Bloomer Show. Aber nächstes Mal machen wir mit Gurke. Late Bloomer Soap.
Late Bloomer Show.
Late Bloomer Soap.
We love Late Bloomer Show.
Hello.
What's your name?
Rodney.
How old are you, Rodney?
4.
Have you done much gardening before?
Yeah?
How long have you been gardening?
I don't know, maybe 30 years?
30 years? Our garden on the back veranda, is it a different sort
To what garden?
to a normal one in the ground?
Yeah.
What's different about it?
It has water in the bottom
Yes?
and soil, and the water feeds the plants, and it has worm garden in it.
A worm garden, a worm tower, very good. What do you think the term late bloomer might mean?
She's late bloomer.
If you could grow just one vegetable or fruit, what would it be?
Tomato.
What's job's best in the garden?
Digging.
Yep, what else?
Hosing.
Hosing, you like hosing?
Oh, there's a plant that needs growing.
Today we celebrate Valentine's Day and my birthday. And as a special gift to me, won't you please share this episode with a friend? And I'd love to hear your ideas for the last 2 episodes of Season 5. If you'd like to see a Season 6 of Late Bloomer, please consider becoming a patron. You can find my Patreon fundraising link in the description below. I'm Kaye, I'm a late bloomer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. At the end of filming, I treated myself to a birthday brunch for one in the garden.